Good morning, entrepreneurs. How are we doing today? Happy Friday. Hope you are all doing well. First thing I wanted to tell you about was yesterday's event. So we had 10 people who managed to make it there battling through the snow, including Dan and James who came up from Brighton and Doreen who came all the way from Gloucestershire. Unfortunately, Vikesh didn't make it. I think you're travelling down from the Midlands, Vikesh, so he got interrupted by the snow. So London, I don't know... those of you that were outside of London, I think it might just have been London yesterday. It was unbelievable, sort of sleety snow, not the kind of weather you want to be looking out of your window when you're about to host an event. It was amazing, so well done to all of you that made it through the snow to our event in Moorgate, which was really great energy in the room again, and a really great group of people. So each month we meet, and the purpose of this is to foster a sense of community, something that is incredibly close to my heart, that I'm really passionate about. So you get to meet some really great people, but also every month we have a particular theme, and yesterday we were talking about resilience and looking after yourself, and we covered sort of three main topics. We were looking at how to build a healthy routine, what do you need in terms of a support network around you, and also how to set standards. So the theme of my Facebook Live last week, how to set standards for yourself and your business. And the key takeaway, really, there were some really good discussions actually from people around the table in terms of what they put into their routines and how they look after themselves. And really the key takeaway from a lot of people was that self-care is not being selfish. It's really important to look after yourself. You are the owner of the business, and if you're not looking after yourself, you're setting a bad example to the people around you, but also you're putting your business at risk. So it was a really great day. Several new people joining in the community and coming along to their first event. So yeah, really great. And I always really enjoy the energy in the room, and people get to connect and meet each other. So that was wonderful. So our next event is the 31st of March. I've actually got dates mapped out now for the whole of the year, so I'll be putting all of those up in the group so you can mark them in your calendar and hopefully be able to come along to future events. We also like a bit of accountability as well, so at the end of each session we look to ask people what they are prepared to commit to in terms of taking action between now and the next event. So that's always a bit of fun as well. Okay, so what are we talking about today? Today we're talking about what to do if you feel like you're falling out of love with your business, or maybe you already have fallen out of love with your business, but hopefully we can help you catch that before you actually fall out of love with your business. So this is something that I see very often in my conversations with business owners. Of all different shapes and sizes actually, so it doesn't happen necessarily at a particular time in the cycle. It can happen quite early on if you're feeling overwhelmed and stressed, and you know, the ups and downs of this wonderful entrepreneurial journey. But I often also see it with people in quite established businesses where maybe things have started stagnating and maybe you're getting a bit bored, not that you would probably use that word. So as I say, I think this is quite a common problem for today's entrepreneur, and that's why I wanted to sort of address it today. And I really became super aware of it a few years ago when I met a lady called Sophia, who became a client of mine and now is a member of this community. And I know she won't mind me sharing her story. So Sophia had started a children's charity at quite a young age, helping children deal with trauma from their childhood, because she herself had experienced great trauma during her childhood. She'd lost her mum at a young age, and so she started the charity to help other children deal with what she herself had gone through. And she's a trained therapist, and so she started this charity, built a great team. And when I met her, she was self-admittedly falling out of love with her organisation. So whether it's a business, in her case it was a charity. I think she was the first person that really kind of said this sentence to me, I think I'm falling out of love with it, and it really kind of resonated with me. And what she had decided to do is that she just wanted to get out, leave completely. And through the course of our coaching conversations, we got to a point where actually she realised there were bits of her job that she still loved. She was still passionate about helping children. Still the reasons why she started the charity were still very much there. But she was getting drowned in a lot of the administration, and she was getting very stressed with a lot of pieces of her business that she didn't really enjoy, and they didn't really light her up. And so actually from the course of our coaching and our conversations, she came to the conclusion that actually, rather than leaving, because I said to her, if you leave, you may well start something up. That's what she wanted to do, start new things, start something up, and then you might find yourself right back where you started, right back in this position, and we might end up having this conversation a few years down the line. So I said to her, why don't you find somebody that will complement you? Why don't you find somebody that can run your charity for you? Which is exactly what she did. Enter the wonderful Anna, who took on the reins of her business. And Sophia is now still involved in the charity, but in a much different role. She is now playing to her strengths. She is working on helping other therapists and creating courses and online content for them, in terms of specifically how to raise funds, which is something that many therapists struggle with. And so Sophia is doing many different things that are in her flow, still supporting the charity. So she's very good at connecting with people, spreading the vision, and supporting people in terms of their journey as well, that what they can learn from her. She's actually in Thailand running her many different projects remotely. So that's an example of somebody that was falling out of love with their business and actually then found a way to make it work for them. And that's really what I want to share with you and encourage you to think about if you're having one of those times where it just isn't fun anymore, and you're just not really enjoying it. I spoke to an accountant last year, and he confessed to me that he was feeling a bit bored. He's been running his business for kind of 16, 17 years. He's getting frustrated with his people and really wanted to be focusing on a lot of different things, different projects, new and exciting projects. Hi Amanda, thanks for joining, nice to see you. I also just a few weeks ago took on a client that is a manufacturing client, and he said to me, it's just not fun anymore, you know, it's just there's just too much stress, too much anxiety. So these are the things that I hear very often from clients and from entrepreneurs and business owners that I meet. Often, as I say, in established companies, but not necessarily. It can happen a lot earlier where you just think, this is too much, I'm just too overwhelmed. So my top tips, if that's you, and what to do to help yourself avoid that kind of slippery slope down to where people just leave, they just quit. So one of my questions then is, do you actually want out? So when you have that feeling of this isn't fun anymore, I don't want to do this anymore, is it that you actually want out of your business, or are there still bits that you still love? Remember why you started and what you were passionate about. What are the bits that you don't enjoy, and what are the bits that you do? So it's sort of about separating out those things rather than just, oh my God, I need to get out of this business. What is it about the business that is stressing you out, you're falling out of love with? And what are the bits that actually you still really enjoy? Why did you start? And what do you love? My second tip is really to focus on the mission then, is why are you doing this? What's the sort of bigger purpose? I'll refer you back to Ikigai, which is what I've mentioned to you many, many times, which is really a way of finding your reason for being. Why are you in business? Why are you doing that? And that can help you kind of center yourself and get aligned again to your sort of vision and purpose. But it is important to get rid of all those things that stress you out, that are not in your flow. let's not have any of those shoulds. I should be better at admin, I should be better at finances, I should be doing this, I should be working harder. We talked about that a lot yesterday. I should be pushing harder. I can't afford to go to the gym, I don't have the time. All of those things that we say to ourselves, that is just going to make you feel terrible. It's okay to be you. It really is. It's not selfish to look after yourself and really make sure that you're in your flow as much of the time as possible. And the way that you do that, as you know before, and I've spoken about this before, is to find the right people. Now, this is really difficult, and I know that trust is an issue that many of you have spoken to me about. And again, the manufacturing client that I just took on, I was having a really interesting conversation with him about this. And it occurred to me to remind everybody that the people that you hire will not be like you. However much you want them to be like you, they will not be like you. Because if they were, they would probably be off running their own businesses. And so you're looking for a different kind of person, and you need to find ways to make it work with people who complement you, or people who are like you but not exactly like you, because otherwise they would be off running their own businesses. And that is really challenging, because ultimately, in order to let go and in order to trust, often people feel like they're looking for somebody that is exactly like them. And that just isn't going to work. So you do need to find a way of finding people that you can trust, that complement you, but all the time remember that they are not entrepreneurs themselves, and so they don't have the same attitude towards risk. They don't care in the same way as you do. They do still really care, but it's not their baby, it's not their business. And so it is a question of how do you communicate, how do you manage, and how do you find those right people and work with them in a way that is going to work for you and them. And that leads me on really to my fourth and final point, which is think about what kind of structure is going to work for you. Sophia was really in the day-to-day running of her business. She was, and even when Anna first came on board, Sophia was still spending a couple of days a week in the office with the team, and that really wasn't working for her. So it's a question of what is going to work for you. Sophia can now add huge value to her charity, but not being so hands-on and not being in the office because she's in Thailand now. So it's a question of what is going to work for you, and think about, if you want to feel like you're being selfish, fine, be selfish for a minute and think, how would this really work for me? How would this get my juices flowing again? How would this make me love it again? No ifs, no buts, nobody's gonna agree to that, I don't have the money to set that up. Let's put all that to one side for a moment and say, what is the perfect structure for you? What would really, really work for you? And then let's figure out how to build that. You see, people get very hung up all the time about putting objections in the way before you've really got clear about what you want. What is it that you want? What is it that you want from your business? What is it that you love? And what is going to work for you? That's not selfish, that's just sensible. As a business owner, if you have a team, you are responsible for the jobs of all those people that are working with you. So actually, it's selfish not to think about what is going to work for you and therefore what's going to work for your business. Hi Steve, good morning. Look forward to speaking to you later. So really, if you have that feeling of this isn't fun, I don't really want to do this anymore, I would really encourage you to go back to, if you like, the core essence of why you started and what it is that you still really love. Because in my experience, when I'm having conversations with clients or with other business owners, when I get into a conversation with them about what they love about their business, it's still there. I can still hear the passion, I can still hear the energy, if you can connect back to that, and then think about, how can I feel that more of the time? What do I have to do? What do I have to do in terms of setup? What do I have to do in terms of people? And what do I have to do in terms of structure? That's not selfish, that's really sensible. And that is the way that you stop yourself falling out of love with your business, or even potentially fall back in love with your business. That can be tricky, it depends how far you've gone along that road. Some people are just like, enough Lisa, I'm done, I need to get out. And that's fine, if that's you then that's absolutely fine. But before you make such a huge decision to leave or to sell your business, I really would encourage you to think about, are you leaving because you really have had enough, or are you getting out because you just can't figure out how to make it work for you? Trust me, there is a way. There is a way. If you still love it, if you've still got that passion, there is a way to make your business work for you. I can assure you. So let me know what your thoughts are. How do you feel about your business? Do you still love it? Are you still passionate about it? Do you have days where it's a bit of a challenge? And do you worry that you're going to fall out of love with your business? Do you worry that it's stagnating? Do you worry that actually you might get a bit bored? I know people don't like to admit to that, but is that kind of how you're feeling? Is there too much stress? Is there too much anxiety? Is it still fun? So I'm really interested to hear your thoughts about your business, and where you feel like you are in that. Do you worry? Are you at risk of falling out of love with your business? Do you need some help in terms of reconnecting with that passion that I know you had when you started out? Drop me some comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know where you are, and what you find challenging about this. It's an interesting topic, isn't it? Anyway, that's it from me. Have a great day. Happy Friday to you and a wonderful weekend, and I'll speak to you very soon. You take care. Bye now.